Hi, this is Jim Forat, and I'm in Connecticut. It's June 12th. It's been exactly 2 years since the Pulse Massacre. And I'm in a small town in Connecticut to speak at a local community organized memorial around gun violence in the Pulse Massacre. And with me is a woman that lives here who's with Moms
Demand Action.
Who Gays Against Guns has been in many demonstrations with. We've collaborated on trying to end this madness. So please introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Sue Hubens, and I just joined Moms Demand Action, Middlesex, Connecticut.
And where are we right now?
We're in Chester, Connecticut, at the Chester Meeting House grounds.
And you've organized this tonight. Can you talk a little bit what motivated you to do this?
Well, I was just so moved by the massacre at Pulse, the nightclub, because of the military type of weapon used. So many people were killed in such a short time, and I just think it's horrific. And because it was gay people that were killed, they weren't given enough attention by the media. And at the time, it was the highest number of people killed in the United States.
49 dead,
Yes.
53 injured.
Yes. And I just felt really that it was ignored.
Now, I know a little bit about your background. I know that for many, many years you were in AIDS research at the highest level of trying to find something to save people's lives. So you, in fact, did have a lot of interactions with gay people, which you might not normally have,
Right.
you know, and you saw a lot of young people die even then. Did that have any effect on you in terms of how you felt when the Pulse Massacre happened?
Yes, it did, because I know that gay people are human beings just like everybody else and deserve equal attention, and their lives are just as important. And that's it. I mean, and so I feel like if a whole bunch of gay people are gunned down, it's the same as if any other group of people are massacred.
Mm-hmm. You know, we just had dinner together and we talked a little bit about this background. I did not know that when I came down here. We got the call at Gays Against Guns asking if they could provide a speaker. Today in New York City, there's a lot of events going on to memorialize what happened that day. Gays Against Guns was founded 1 week after the massacre. And it's called Gays Against Guns because Pulse was a gay nightclub. Mm-hmm. But we are not a group. We're very inclusive. Anyone can join us who wants to do the same thing we do. We do direct action to try to stop this gun madness. But I want to just tell the people that watch this that you worked on DDI.
Yes.
And as someone who was a founding member of ACT UP, I know the significance and the importance of DDI in the sort of steps to medication that would help prolong people's lives. So I want to just say publicly thank you for the work that you did.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so here we are in a small town in Connecticut, about 25 minutes away from Old Saybrook, let's say. Very beautiful. Behind us is a very much a New England kind of cemetery. In some ways appropriate location for tonight, but we're at the Historical Society here in this small town, and you put out the call and asked people to come. I see you have the Pulse ribbon on. Now, how did you get the Pulse ribbon?
I'm in contact on Twitter with a person called the Ribbon Maker, who is, I'm not sure he was there at Pulse, but he's associated with people who were there and survived.
And I asked you earlier if there was any kind of like gay community in this neighborhood. I'm sure there's gay and lesbian people and trans people that live here, but they're not visible.
Yeah.
And so when you put out this call, it was basically to people that were against gun, wanted to stop gun violence. Right. And we're at a gazebo here. There's a small group of people that have gathered. We expect a few more people, hopefully.
I hope so.
And it doesn't matter. That's the one thing we learned in Gays Against Guns is that it's not how many people show up, it's that we're here. that we're here and we want to stop. Assault weapons. What's your feeling on that? What do you think should happen?
I
Like,
think they should be banned. Just
why
like
do you
they
think
were.
they haven't been banned?
Because of the NRA and the NRA's lobbying of our politicians.
Do you feel, now you live in a very nice community here in Connecticut. Do you think there are a lot of NRA people that live here?
There's no real way of knowing. They're kind of invisible, and that's a problem.
And what do you hope you personally will gain out of tonight's memorial?
Solace, but I don't think I will, because the shootings are just, they keep going. I mean, in Connecticut we have really good laws for guns.
As we do in New York City.
Yes, as you do there as well. But gun violence continues in Hartford and in Groton and places like that because criminals are still getting their hands on guns. It's still a problem. And of course, I'm aware of shootings that continue to go on. There was just a shooting today in Florida. I mean, shootings are going on throughout the country because we don't have gun laws nationally that are good. And as I understand it, there's still pressure to have concealed carry throughout the nation.
Concealed and open carry.
Exactly. And if that passes, we're all up a creek without a paddle, because that will countermand all of the good gun laws that the blue states have.
Now we know that Connecticut had its own sense of tragedy.
Yes.
It was children, very young children at Newtown that were killed, and there was a lot of press about that, and a lot of organizing around changing the gun rules and trying to get the end of certainly military weapons in the hands of civilians. Did it happen?
Yeah, in Connecticut.
No, did they pass?
Nationally?
And no, did they pass any laws? Did it make any change? The death of all those children.
In Connecticut, it did.
What did it do?
We passed a lot of laws. I think we got red flag laws here.
What's that?
A red flag law is so that someone who is at risk as far as their mental health, their relatives or something, can have the guns removed from the house. Okay? And
That's a good law.
it is a good law, and it's
They
worked.
should never have had those guns.
Right. And that one might have stopped Newtown because the man who did it was very mentally disturbed and got to his mother's guns. And that's how Newtown happened.
There's an interesting gathering of people here. They look like very local residents. We have a few dogs.
Yes. Dogs are all
We also, I
anti-gun.
just met, I'm going to speak tonight, and a woman whose son was killed when he was a Good Samaritan trying to stop a domestic violence situation in Groton, Connecticut. And he wound up being murdered. You know, the NRA likes to say that guns don't kill people, people kill people. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
I know at Gays Against Guns we are very adamant about saying guns kill
Guns do kill people.
and the NRA refuses to admit that. Well, I want to thank you for doing this, first of all. I want to thank you for inviting Gays Against Guns to come. I want our viewers to know, and I had said this to you earlier, we believe it's only when we take direct action and we show up for each other and that we talk to each other to give support, but we also talk to the people that may not understand why we're here and why we want to have a gun-free environment.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
This will go in the Gays Against Guns videos that we have, and I'll also put it up on my blog and do things like that.
Okay, great. You have a blog, huh?
Oh, I have two. I have a film blog and I have something called Folklore Instigator. And you should be my Facebook friend too. I use Facebook for social, not for cooking recipes.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook at Sue Hubens.
Jim Forat.
Okay. I'll look you up. We will hook up on Facebook.
Who's over here with a guitar?
This is Diane.
Hi Diane, I'm Jim Forat from Gays Against Guns. Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
We were just down at Pride in the Park in Norwalk, and we saw a very lovely presentation from Gays Against Guns. I don't remember sadly there weren't as many people there to hear it as there were to hear the music later. But she had two women with her, all in white, carrying signs.
Yes,
with pictures.
those are shrouded. They're called
Yeah.
human beings.
Yes.
And people, we dress. One of our from the very beginning, we were founded 1 week after the Pulse massacre, and that's why it's called Gays Against Guns. And we are not exclusive. We're very inclusive of anyone who's against gun violence. So it's not just gay people, but we're not ashamed to be gay people. But those human beings are to bring back the spirit of the person who's been murdered because of those little pockets, because it's become so normalized. I mean, this happens every day that we forget these are real people, real families, real birthdays. And you have some music here.
Not a lot. I do have a guitar. I don't have a lot that's like suitable for this sort of event. I think.
Patty Smith always answers shows me. You know, have the power. The song that she wrote. Just people understand that they do have the power to make change.
And it kind of went through kind of the history of Russian influence.
I don't know.
And some of the things.
I want to just speak with you. Could I speak with you for a moment? I'm going to ask you to identify yourself, and then we're going to talk about why you're here and your brother. Is that okay? This is for Gays Against Guns. We have a video blog that we put up for all of them.